Hey, Flickin' Fanatics, this is Pastor Dad Fox here for a quick movie review of All Quiet on the Western Front. See you in just a second. All right. So, All Quiet on the Western Front is a new movie out by Netflix. Came out last week, I think, Thursday, October 28th. Um, very highly reviewed. Is currently sitting at a 92% critics score on Rotten Tomatoes with a 90% audience score. Um, but it has a lot to live up to. This is based off of a book from the 1920s, and it has been made previously. Not often do we see a movie that's remade that won an Academy Award. 1930, All Quiet on the Western Front, that was directed by um, Lewis Millstone, won Best Picture and Best Director in 1930 for All Quiet on the Western Front. Then it was remade into a miniseries or a made-for-TV motion picture. Won the Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture made for television in 1980. And so not often do we see a movie that's really highly touted get redone. But the beautiful thing about this is actually done in German, which the original or the author of the book was German, based in World War One, where the Germans were battling the French, and it was a not to get too historical about it, but the trench warfare in World War One was devastating, and basically, once they got dug into the trenches, all they did was go back and forth for basically 4.5 years, from 1914 all the way to the end of 1918. And this movie takes a look at what it looks like on the front lines, the Western Front of the war. And it is an incredibly close-up image of it. The book is beautiful. So I know that I said this is spoiler-free, and I will keep it that way. I will say this, though, that the book does an incredible job of getting inside the mind of the main character, Paul Baumer, um, and who, by the way, Felix Kammerer did a fantastic job in the lead role in this movie. But we don't get as much of that inside the head kind of dialogue. And they did make some changes from the book for the movie, which is fine. I'm all cool with that. They did a good job with it. The changes that they did make were necessary. Nothing negative really about that, other than if you have not read the book, I would recommend don't read it. Just watch the movie and see it later. I went back and actually refreshed on the book because I had read it when I was younger, and I refreshed the book a week ago, and then decided to give it a view. And I'll be honest, I wish I hadn't read the book so that I was more clean going in and wasn't expecting anything coming up. But man, what an intense movie. Some quick highlights: the cinematography is absolutely beautiful. This is a picturesque movie, beautifully shot. The colors, the hues, everything they used, the storytelling was awesome. Another note: this is filmed in German. I watched it most of the way with British subtitles, or with subtitles, but then with British dubbing. Don't do that. Watch it in German. You get a much better feel for the emotion of the characters by reading the subtitles, but hearing the voice given in the actual language in German. Much better done. An outstanding cast. Some standouts, obviously, Felix Kammerer as Paul Baumer did awesome. Daniel Bruhl was in this as the main negotiator, Herr Erzberger. He is the one negotiating for an armistice or peace between the French and the Germans, and he knows what's at risk. And then also Albrecht Schuk played the character of Stanislas Kaczynski. They call him Cat in the movie. It's what he's also called in the book. Now, this is one of those characters in the book is a pivotal character, but he's just one of several kind of co-characters with Paul. He takes a much more front and center role. Their relationship is emphasized in this movie very strongly, and it is beautifully done. Now, I will say I liked how they treated that character a little better in the book than necessarily in the movie, mostly because we lost some of the other characters as well, or their role was de-emphasized a little bit, and it really focused a lot more on Paul and Kat, which they did a beautiful job with that. It got me in a couple of spots where I got a little emotional, was kind of wrapped up in it, but overall, really well done. Again, director for this movie, Edward Berger, wonderful job. Uh, the uh, the overall storytelling, the way they adapted the book into this movie, and how they kind of realigned some of the things for foreshadowing, as well as some not necessarily flashback, but some of the stuff when they were younger and how they jumped forward in time was really well done. The story was actually adapted by Edward Berger, but also with Leslie Patterson and Ian Stokell. They kind of helped to take this beautiful book, All Quiet on the Western Front, and translate it into this movie adaptation. And I will say, I've seen the original All Quiet on the Western Front. It is considered one of the best movies of all time. It's in the top 100 for AFI's top 100 movies. It's in the top 10 for AFI's top epic films of all time. It's rated, I think, 7 out of 10 on that, or number 7 out of the top 10. Wonderful movie. The adaptation I watched in high school was from the 1979 made for TV one. I remember seeing that. Very good movie. Really well done. This takes it to another level as far as intensity, action. It's a modern movie as far as what the real brutality of war is. Sometimes almost a little hard to swallow some of it, but still really well done. I was thoroughly impressed with the way they shot those scenes. A lot of long cuts, long action without many breaks, which is one of the best things you could ever hope for in a movie, especially a war movie. It's so hard to do. They did it really well in the movie 1917, again based off of World War One. This movie kind of picks up where that movie not left off, but it picks up that same theme. Wonderfully edited. The score is ominously quiet, but when they come in, it almost has that War of the Worlds burn, that buzz, deep tone that the intensity is picking up, and they really do a good job of building that. But it's also because the movie is about being quiet. There are some beautiful spots where the noise is just brought way down, and they use subtlety very well in the movie. Overall, I would say this movie, again, Rotten Tomatoes, the critics have it at 90%, 92%. Audience has it at 90%. I'm going to say it's an 8 out of 10 for me. It's not the best thing I've ever seen. It's not the best war movie I've ever seen, but it's definitely one I'll probably watch again. Again, to go back to what I said to originally, I don't want to give any spoilers, but watch this in the German and read the subtitles. It's the best way to get the full emotion of the characters and not miss out on some of that. The British dub over is kind of the lips don't match up because it was done in German, and also the emotion didn't seem to connect. And when I flipped it over to the German, man, you really felt it a lot more. And it, even though it's in a different language, watching the subtitles, this movie should be in the running for best foreign language film, if not also up for an Oscar for best picture. It's really, really well done, but definitely best foreign language film. And if you do have Netflix, take the time, give it a watch. It is one of the better war movies you'll see. Still, Saving Private Ryan's number one. This movie's maybe one notch down below that. It's good. It is really good. But you also have to make sure you're going into it knowing you're watching a war movie, and war movies nowadays are graphic. They're intense. And I would say in some of the battle sequences is also the spots where you see some of the effects not as well done. The practical effects they use are amazing, but there are some spots with some tanks and some flamethrowers that were kind of like, I've seen better stuff on cheaper movies. So, but overall, still highly recommend it. Give it a watch. Thumbs up, click like, leave us a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel, and let us know what you guys think about All Quiet on the Western Front when you get a chance to see it. Peace. See you guys later.